Hi friends! This is DaintyTank. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to Fatal 12 Pride Edition. Hi friends, it's Pride Month on the channel. Always excited. Can't not be excited about Pride. Woo! Even though we all can't be together still, it's still important to follow regulation on each of your different states, or if you're not in the states, follow whatever your guidelines are for the pandemic. We all know how important it is to be safe, but still, we can be excited. Yeah? Why not celebrate a little bit for Pride Month? This is part 11 of our major series, Poke Toto in the upper right card area. Way the heck up there. And let's just jump straight into things today. I'm really excited. Last we left off, basically, number 10, Sonya, went off back to her doom, supposedly, and Miharu completely confessed to Rinka, and Rinka basically was like, is this a relationship? Platonic friendship? Cannot. She's so oblivious. It's like heartbreakingly oblivious. When someone looks at you and says, I will die for you, you're more important. Maybe they love you. Just maybe. Maybe. Anyways, beyond that, let's jump straight back into things. Load. What the traveler leaves. After a glass of cold water, managed to calm myself down. Meanwhile, Miharu gets ready to leave because she has to go to work. I'll see you at school tomorrow. Yeah, sorry for crying so much. Today reminded me how weak I am in comparison to you. You may not realize it yourself, but I'd say you're far stronger than me. I deny her claim with a shake of my head as she smiles at me. We're not even halfway through Divine Selection. Remember that I'll be waiting for you once you've cleared your own doubts. Oh. Thanks. I'd appreciate it if you showed me the same concern for yourself, though. Right back at you. Oh, and I said I'd see you at school tomorrow, but I guess we'll see each other in the dream world before then. Hey, that's not a very funny joke. I'll see you later. Yeah. That said, she turns and makes her way out. I should be used to being alone here, yet it somehow feels a lot more quiet than before. It wasn't long ago that the three of us were talking and laughing together. It's almost already noon. After I decided to open the store up, I also decided to give my gran a call later on in the evening. Aww. However, meanwhile, at the dream world. Good evening, my little slaves to fate. Hold on, my lovely little slaves to fate. Parsa's so creepy. And thus today's session begins. Parsa's graceful voice rings throughout the court. I really can't fathom what's going on through her mind. For what purpose does she delve the intricacies of fate to us? What drove her to begin Divine Selection in the first place? My, aren't we a gloomy bunch? I've refused to even consider her motivation before now, because I saw her as some ethereal being completely removed from the logic of humans. No, she seems like she's bored and toying with you like a cat with a mouse. But now I find it hard not to remember what Sonya said. Fate can be changed. The idea of being able to alter the very effects of this ritual had never even come to mind. Come, why not lighten the mood and engage me in some riveting discussion? Cut the crap and get on with it. Oh, Alan. You're so mean. Alan's curt response serves as his attempt to hurry things along. I wonder where he is in the real world. I stopped researching him after meeting Sonya. You're often in quite the rush, aren't you? Is there any particular reason for this? I'm not one for pointless chit-chat. Besides, you're supposed to be a neutral party. Did you not consider the possibility that the other participants could benefit from my talking to you? Surely you wouldn't be pleased with your own actions if they give others an unfair advantage, would you? Goodness, did something happen to my memory? I certainly don't recall making any claims about being a neutral party, nor that divine selection would be conducted in a fair manner. Terrifying. Oof. Male number 3, Federico. Hold on, that ain't right. Federico Carminati is the next one to chime in. Actually, this might be the first time I've heard him speak. Now that he's got my attention, I realize he actually might be the tallest one here. He's pretty stylish to boot. The suit he's wearing looks great on him. Can't blame anyone if they confused him for a model. I sure as hell ain't fine with the idea of this whole thing being rigged when it's my life on the line. Christ, this guy. That's done. Oh my, something the matter? Numeral 3. Numeral 11 reacts to Federico's outburst, which causes Miharu to shoot me a quick glance. Looks like those two really are working together. Hell, this whole thing's been unfair ever since the cards were distributed at the beginning. 2 of the cards I got belong to people that guys already eliminated. Oh, thanks. That's kind of a problem. Don't say that out loud. This is like the whole thing. That guy. So, he had Kikyo and the first American. He points toward Alan as he states his concerns. So it's safe to say that you only have 1 card of value remaining from your initial lot, then. What? How did you not think about that, Federico? You're like literally just bumbling into this. Feel free to voice your concerns regarding the system itself, but only a fool would lay information like that in the open. I'm gonna make you regret it if you keep running that mouth, asshole. I have no issue with the current system, so I'd prefer if you sped things up along. Very well. I assume you're fine with it too? She turns to face Federico. He refuses to comply, raising his voice in a panic instead. Just a sec here. Are the rest of you fine with this? Directs his question outright to the remaining participants. His arms remain spread wide. No one responds to him, though. Not even numeral 11, his partner. There's your answer. They may have their own issues, but they're all united in not making a scene and embarrassing themselves like you have. What's more, they'd much prefer not to make their own incompetence known to others like you have. I won't let you forget this, punk. Don't worry, I have no intention of forgetting it until you've been eliminated. Oh. Parsa ends up being the one to interrupt their argument with a sigh. Really now? Can we not save your argument for the real world, assuming you meet there, of course? Following that, she makes her way to the center of the court. Oh god, she's so terrifying. I mean, those purple eyes. Regardless, allow me to begin tonight's election. Revolvo, clock of fate. Once again, it's time for us to decide whether or not we would want to elect someone. Should things proceed as Sonya believes, numeral 11 would elect numeral 10 tonight. I grit my teeth. This is the inevitable, and then announce that I won't be electing anyone. Up next, Miharu will likely say the same. This is the 4th election, and it's safe to say there's a solid split between how each of us are approaching the situation. Some have opted to go all out with information gathering, while others are choosing to sit back and let the situation unfold. The fact that numerals 11 and 12 are the only ones to elect anyone yet is proof of that. Whoa! My turn then. In that case, I'll be electing you, numeral 10. What the? Oh, a first-timer will be taking the plunge. Very well. Allow me to question the remaining participants first. I can't hide my surprise. There's no good because it would act as a hint to others, as it's known by this point that we're acquainted. Yeah, a little bit. That isn't enough to stop me from acting out. Meanwhile, Sonya seems unfazed by Miharu's election. Don't tell me, did they plan this from the beginning? Maybe, probably. The conversation that night wasn't just about Sonya having Miharu's name card, but this as well. As I'm mulling this over, the clock hand eventually revolves around to numeral 11. Yeah, I've got an election, alright? Same as that broad over there, I'm going for numeral 10. She points to Sonya. It's obvious that she hasn't anticipated this scenario. She doesn't seem bent out of shape, though. She looks more like she's enjoying this turn of events, much like a predator would as it bares its fangs towards its prey. Numeral 11 knows that Sonya holds her card. Her name card. Ooh, there we go. If Miharu eliminates Sonya, then it's possible that she could end up with said card. Naturally, this is something numeral 11 would want to avoid. The same likely applies to Miharu. That's why they're both aiming to have Sonya's election called off. It won't make much sense for them to put one of their own cards out there to protect another. So what was in your script for when this kind of situation comes about? We ascertain whether or not you wish to obtain election priority, which requires that one of you reveal a personal card to the other participants. Whoever does this so first will be at a disadvantage. So do make your intentions known at the same time. Should you wish to obtain priority, then by all means present me with one of your personal cards. Ain't too fussed about fair or unfair. Gonna make it clear that I'm not interested in doing that. So the decision's all yours, girlie. Come on, numeral 11. I would appreciate it if you would abide by my proposed rules. Your stance on the matter, number 2? Person turns to Miharu, speaking in a slow and soft tone. Miharu nods in response, opening her card book. What? She produces one card from it. I'll reveal my name card to the rest of the participants, now that I have the right to do so. Numero 10, I elect you. Sonya remains unfazed by this turn of events. Her expression seems forlorn, but that's been true ever since divine selection began. Meanwhile, numeral 11 has stopped smiling. She's giving Miharu a vitriolic glare instead. She abandoned her own name? Well, no denying that she's an interesting one. Very well. With that said, numeral 2 and numeral 10, allow me to begin the election procedure. Familiar tremor accompanies her statement. Shortly after, Miharu and Sonya's platforms ascend to the upper stratum. Wow. I was not expecting that. Wow. Miharu and Sonya face each other in the upper stratum of the Court of Fate. Neither looks too happy about what will soon take place. Regardless, they make sure to maintain eye contact. Thank you, Miharu. I'm the one that should be thanking you. I certainly never expected such a proposition from you, but your decision is the right one. Yes, I knew that sister wouldn't be able to find it in her to do this. I've actually settled on giving my life for Rinka, so stealing myself for events like this is an easy feat. Good evening once again. Parsa appears out of nowhere as usual, offering them both a welcoming smile. Miharu looks more than displeased by her presence. I see you two are already acquainted. What's more, you don't seem hostile towards one another like the other participants have been. The only hostility present right now is being directed toward Parsa herself. Miharu makes her desire to not engage with Parsa clear by changing the subject. So, what do I do now? Choose the 3 cards that correspond to number numeral 10 and read their contents aloud to me. Right. Miharu's cards emerge from her book. Oh, this is so cool. And float in the air in front of her. She plucks 3 cards from them. Her name is Sophia Presents, and I won't go into detail, but her cause of death was from an illness. Sophia, I still can't make any promises regarding her request, but Rinka said she was willing to carry it out. That being the case, I'll do everything I can to help her. Just remember that my priority is to ensure that she makes it through the end. I'm aware of this. I can still say with all my confidence that meeting both of you brought me more happiness than I'd ever experienced before. Please take care of Pazir for me. We will. Miharu casts her eyes back down to her cards. Oh! A few moments later, she closes her eyes and recites the context of the 3rd card. Regret is not having the freedom to see the world at large. Oh man. All 3 cards begin to move on their own in response. Once they reach the middle of the Court of Fate, they come together and form a triangle shape. Goodbye. I'm not fond of goodbyes. I much rather prefer you pray for myself and Rinka's happiness. Okay. She takes a deep breath before clasping her hands together and offering a prayer. May Rinka and Miharu find joy in their future. Oh, thank you, Sophia. I'll never forget you. May your soul rest in peace. The light from Miharu's cards grows stronger and brighter until it engulfs the entire area. Miharu makes sure to keep her eyes on Sonya's tear-stained face, no matter how blinding the light grows. Sheesh. Oh no! Feelings of regret and emptiness begin to flow into her. She finds herself laying on Sophia's bed in her room. The doctors rushed in as her parents looked on, praying for her safety. The girl reflected upon her life as her breathing grew ever more pained. The ceiling of the room was perhaps the most viewed scenery she'd witnessed throughout her life. She could only ever experience the outside world through a book or monitor. Freedom remained a foreign concept. Just how much time did she spend imagining the wonders that would come with attaining such a thing? In the end, her life was nothing but dull. Dull to the point where she spent her final moments contemplating her reality, how it compared to the vast world she'd so longed to experience. Oh, my heart! You have to be rotten to the core to make us experience the last moments of those we eliminate. Unfortunately, I do not I have no say in the matter. Do not forget that this is a ritual. Your election tonight has forcefully reverted the fate of that young girl back to its original course. The Court of Fate exists to carry out that ritual. Alas, nothing can be done about each participant being affected by the aftermath of their own actions. Wait a minute, you mean to tell me you had no say in the matter despite the ritual being named Divine Selection? Is there a force involved here that even you cannot control? Ooh. Rather than receive an answer, Miharu's platform begins to descend. It returns to the lower stratum. I'm not terribly fond of needless curiosities. Parsa utters her words only after Miharu has gone far enough away. Ooh, that was intense and so unexpected. Number 2 comes back down instead of Odette this time. It's been obvious that her and number 1 know each other. Oop, wait, hold on. Okay, so this is from Odette's point of view. It's obvious that her and Numeral 1 know each other ever since this whole thing started. I also figure they aren't at odds with each other, which means they're likely working together, like me and Odette. Me and Odette is Federico. Damn, did tonight ever take me by surprise? I was sure she'd come back down once Odette said she would. Odette's obviously going to prioritize protecting her own information over eliminating Sophia. Even if the chance of me cooperating with Sophia existed, it is still a lot more dangerous for Odette to get a hold of the information Sophia had than another participant. Odette's point in ignoring what Parsa said was to make it clear that there's no need for Numeral 2 to reveal one of her cards. But she went and gave up her name card anyway. I'm sure this sure is throwing me for a loop. I gotta say the Numeral 1 sure was a little runt compared to Numeral 2. I assume they're both Asian, but boy does Numeral 2 have the right glamour and proportions. Really, Federico? I figured she'd be eliminated pretty quick, but she went ahead and surprised me. That's a woman after my own heart. Really? Best women are the gutsy ones, definitely. Not counting freaks of nature like Odette, of course. Which card would you like to obtain? She poises the all-important information to Numeral 2. No doubt she's gunning for Odette's card. I'll take number 1's cause of death. What? Does she not know Rinka's cause of death? Damn, she appears my expectations yet again. What's going on here? She had that all along? Doesn't look like anyone's more surprised by these turn events than number 1 herself. Can't blame her. Of all the cards Numeral 2 could have picked, she went in with one belonging to the person she's working together with. Okay, if Sophia knew that she was going to be eliminated and knew Odette's information, couldn't she just tell Miharu all of that in exchange? So Miharu might know more, depending on if they did an information exchange there. Why do you satisfy your urge to keep talking? Understand that the situation you're in requires being silent above all else. Numeral 2 slaps her with a frigid verbal warning. Numeral 1 is obviously taken aback, but does keep her quiet. Now that your election is over, I'd like you to hand me the personal card of your choosing in exchange of obtaining the right to eliminate Numeral 10. I assume this is fine? Purser approaches her and is handed a card. My card book begins to shine immediately after. What? We learned the new name! Hibinata Miharu. Miharu Hibinata, huh? Miharu is pretty easy for me to pronounce. Guess this explains the procedure of revealing your card to others. Feels more fitting to say that everyone simply obtains it. The others check their card books as well. Why, Miharu? I have nothing more to say to you at the moment. Number 1 was surprised over obtaining her card 2. That means Miharu never reveals her real name. Safe to say what's going on here at this point, if you ask me. Uh-huh. Their relationship's done for. Are you sure about that? Tonight's session resulted in 1 elimination. I bid you all farewell for now. Hold on, I gotta say that better. Tonight's session resulted in 1 elimination. I bid you all farewell for now. Much better. Persa brings an end to tonight's election, ignoring Numeral 1's shock over the turn of events. This whole situation's got pretty messy now. I was starting to panic a bit myself, considering Odette and Numeral 12 were outdoing me, but I guess we're at the point where anything can happen. And hey, watching Odette get taken for a ride felt amazing. I was even planning on approaching Miharu had she opted to go with Odette's information, but seems like I'm best off sticking with Odette for now. When all is said and done, I have to put some serious effort in containing this newfound ambition of mine. 4th week achieved! That was terrifying. Ah! Oh, we're back with Federico. It's time to meet up with Odette at the hotel. I still haven't gotten over my excitement about what happened last night in the dream world. Yo, did you see those two last night? Looks like Numeral 1 and 2 have some major issues to work out, huh? Drama. Man, there's just something thrilling about watching a falling out like that. Del makes it obvious how little she cares about listening to me as I ramble on and on. Christ, mine not being so annoying first thing in the morning. All I care about is getting some grub. So let's hit the buffet. Kinda bored of the selection, but it still tastes good enough to choke it down. And here I thought that'd be useful info for when we decide to target them. After saying that, I finally noticed that Odette's in a rotten mood. The excitement I got from their little quarrel made me forget all about what actually happened during last night's election. That Miharu kid ain't to be taken lightly, especially since she beat me to the punch. She might look annoyed, but here's the thing, her voice makes her sound a little thrilled by it. This little game is finally getting interesting. I don't think I'll ever understand this monster's logic, but after this outburst, and what she did to that Russian brat, yeah. Say one thing for sure, though. She ain't the only one who thinks things have finally gotten interesting. God, you guys. Jeez. For the first time in a few days, I'm all alone when I wake up. My eyes feel dry. Leads me to believe I was crying in my sleep. I really am a weakling. Can't deny that I enjoyed the time I spent together with Sonya. Being with her helped to take my mind off the pressure of divine selection. Doing my best to hold back any more tears as I make my way over to my desk. Pick up my card book and peer at the card I attained last night. It's a card that Miharu revealed to every participant in order to earn the right to eliminate Sonya. Hibinata Miharu. That is what's written on Miharu's name card. The surname doesn't ring any bells, but considering her family situation, I can guess what happened. It's more, Miharu obtained my cause of death card last night. Information that even I don't know the full details of. Her actions last night left me visibly shaken, which led her to take on a cold attitude toward me. I can't help but remember what she said. I have nothing more to say to you at the moment. Yeah, I mean, you were talking in front of all of the participants. Maybe consider talking about it when you're outside of the dream world. I see what you're doing, Miharu. After taking that comment, I get ready for school. You do? Do you? I leave TV on as I do so, which is how I come to learn some interesting news. Apparently, a suspicious-looking bag was left at one of the Yamanote line trains near Shibuya Station. The police initially suspected it was an attempted terrorist attack, but after inspections, the bag turned out to be empty. Part of me wonders if one of the Divine Selection participants might have been involved, but based on the reports, I can't think of any links to them. Ouch. As I listen to the report, I suddenly get a pounding headache. Yep. I start to feel stressed out and exhausted, both physically and mentally. I must have imagined the grisly scene of a terrorist attack unconsciously while watching the news. Thanks to all the excitement, it seems like the trains are running late. Make sure to head out earlier than usual. Meanwhile, at school. Oh, Rinka! You are really cute. I bumped into Naomi on my way into school. I never see her in the morning because she always comes in earlier than me, but because trains delayed her today as well. She knows this is me first, so she spins her body around the seat to face me. Wah! Except the spin is so sudden that it causes her to lose balance. Careful! I quickly grab her hand and support her so she doesn't fall. It's been a while since I last saw one of Naomi's stripping scenes. Then again, it's been a while since I saw Naomi, period. Sorry about that. As clumsy as ever, aren't you? She struggles to hide her embarrassment as she props herself upright. How are preparations for the cultural festival coming along? So, I guess. We still haven't decided what to do for the interior decorations and all that. Oh, but I did make sure to prioritize passing on what you taught me about brewing coffee. Everything's going well on that front. Glad to hear you're doing well. Hard to believe the cultural festival's next week, all things considered. I'm not even sure how things are going on my own class right now. I might end up helping them with something the day of, but for now, I have no idea whether or not things are progressing well. How are things going with... Just as Naomi is about to say something, a voice comes out from behind her. Good morning, Rinka. And you too, Naomi. Miharu had just arrived, it seems. As always, her hair flutters elegantly in the wind. She speaks to me like normal, although almost as if what happened in Dream World last night never took place. Do my best to follow along, considering Naomi's presence. Miharu, sorry, but I better make my way to class before the bell rings. Oh, we'll go with you. She skitters off towards the building before I can finish my sentence. Looks like she really is avoiding me. Struggle to find an appropriate response. However, she removes the burden from me by making the response herself. Well, I can't blame her. After all, I'm the one responsible for her evasiveness. Huh? Did something happen between you two? Don't worry, it's nothing major. We should be on our way as well, though. We'll be late for class. You are fully in control of every situation around Rinka. Rinka cannot do anything without you knowing, it seems. Hold on. I still gotta talk to you about last night. And here I thought I was able to distract you from that topic. I plan on going to Lionhouse after I finish my shift tonight. So can it wait until then? You never intended to talk about it here, did you? Her smile upon hearing my questions is enough to answer her question for me. She's fully aware that I want to talk about last night's events. A lot of students pouring into the school eventually forces us to ride the wave with them. Time for lunch, Rini! Now darts over to my desk as soon as the bell for lunch rings. As soon as the bell lunch rings would be a better way to say that. I skipped breakfast today, so I'm starving. Don't you always skip breakfast? Anyways, let me get Miharu first. Don't bother, she's being called to the teacher's lounge to talk about her scholarship funding. How'd you miss her being asked to go there in the first place? Now that you mention it, that did happen. You zone out at the weirdest times, you know that? Well, whatever. Just you and me today, sister. She grabs my hand and drags me along to the cafeteria. Ooh, not sticking with your staple bread today? Nope, I feel like trying something new. You're not having your usual either. Well, I grabbed this since it'll go well with the delicious looking rice you've got there. Mao has opted for Kiragi. Sorry. Again, words. Mao has opted for Kiragi this time, while I've gone with curry. We don't normally go for this kind of stuff since we need to carry it all the way to the rooftop, but I wanted something with a strong flavor today, so I picked this without too much thought. Kinda surprised you went with curry. I figured you weren't a fan of spicy stuff. No, I'm fine with both spicy and sweet stuff, so long as they don't go overboard with it at least. Yeah, that's what I thought. Mao nods her head multiple times in an attempt to seem all-knowing. I dismiss it with a smile. As I smile, I remove the packaging on my curry. If I don't do it now, odds are I might actually forget to eat while talking with Mao. You are so forgetful right now. What's going on? Oh ho ho! Looks like I'm the only one who ain't all here today. What makes you say that? Well, your lack of spoon, for one thing. Oh. You can pick up chopsticks and spoons at the leisure area in the cafeteria, but it completely slipped my mind that I'd need one. All I have is one hand towel. Allow me to offer you a trade then. She produces a plastic spoon from within the plastic bag she has with her. She hands it over to me in exchange for my towel. Also, thou shalt address me as Queen Mao. Queen Mao, I am grateful that you have bestowed this spoon upon me. I'd have preferred it if you were just a teensy bit hesitant. Looks like she was banking on me being not too pleased about having to bow down to her like that. I figured that was going to be her ultimate demand, hence why I said it out up front. Damn though, you would have had to eat that with your bare hands like they do with Indian curry if it weren't for me. Just hearing the word Indian causes Alan to pop into my mind for the brief moment. Fortunately, her joke is a bit on the extreme side, so my involuntary reaction works for her too. I end up spending all of the lunch break chatting away with Mao. Just as we are about to finish eating, she brings up a topic I didn't expect. Oh yeah, forgot to tell you, Niren's got her mind on you a lot these days. Don't think you've noticed it though. Ask her what that means, but she waves off from my question and continues. Mal just sitting there going, by the way, the entire school kinda likes you, and you're just so oblivious. BT dubs. Gotta say, only a girl in love can make the face you did. Can make the face she did. Okay, so you're saying Niren is into Rinka, but of course Miharu is into Rinka, and Miharu's not gonna have any of it. Miharu is going to be the one who wins this. Oh, shut it. Now you're just being rude to her. Fine, you can believe whatever you want. She's looking awfully lonely ever since you started to neglect her. Hey, that's not fair. She told me she's busy with preparations for the cultural festival, so I'm giving her space. Thing is, Niren ain't like Miharu. She's the kind of gal that'll keep her desires locked up inside. Anyway, you've been looking pretty rough for a while now, Rini. How about getting some proper rest? The group just ain't the same when you're not your usual perky self. Like today, for instance, not only did you forget to grab your spoon for your curry, but you haven't even noticed that you've got it all smeared all over your face. She opens the pack containing the towel I trade for a spoon and hands it to me. I bequeath to you this towel, and in recompense, you will refer to me once again as Queen Mao. My everlasting gratitude, Queen Mao. I just can't say it with a straight face. Not that I ever have a straight face, but you know. Not again. And yep, guess I do have curry plaster all over the left side of my mouth. Mal's probably right. Everything that's happened recently has left me mentally exhausted. Even so, I doubt I'll be able to get proper rest in the near future. After all, granted, I'm aware that you won't take any advice given by this fine piece of royalty to heart. This girl. Now jams her trash into the plastic bag before standing up. At the very least, you should do what feels right to you. Thanks. I'm genuinely grateful to hear that from her. There's no way she could know about divine selection. Not even Miharu would divulge that sort of thing to her. And that's okay. That's how it should be. Except you burdened Naomi with it. Kind of a thing. That's exactly why her words are such a relief to hear. Well, do me a favor and check this. I'm gonna go bother Miharu. She hands me the plastic bag and takes her leave. Once she gone, I finish up my own lunch before following her lead. After classes end for the day, I head out to school with the intention of going home. However, once I reach the gate, I notice Naomi leaning against the wall with her eyes downcast. She doesn't seem to have noticed me, so I call out to her. Oh, Rinka, I was waiting for you, actually. You were? What happened with preparations for the cultural festival? I told you about how we Hadn't decided on the interior decorations this morning, right? Well, there are other issues. Our budget won't allow us to buy lots of coffee mugs and plating, so we decided to use plastic cups. That's why we thought it would be best to at least make sure the coasters and such are nice and cute. So, would you mind going with me to shop for them? Only if you have the time, of course. Budget probably isn't their only issue. I doubt they have enough people to wash mugs one by one. It's probably best that they stick to disposable plastic ones anyway. What with all the hygienic issues to consider at such events. Yeah. I happen to know a place that has exactly what she needs. So I don't see any harm in taking her there. I won't see Miharu until later tonight anyway, so it'll be fine as long as I keep track of time. Sure, I don't mind. You should have messaged me instead of waiting like this, though. I didn't want you to feel like you had to cancel any other plans, so if you're busy, then please do prioritize that. She trails off, drawing her eyes away from me. It's my fault that she's acting this way around me, so I can't exactly brush her off. Come on. You don't need to worry about that. I know a good place in Shibuya, so let's head there. Alright, thank you very much. With that, we make our way to the station. Oh, is this a setup for meeting? Oh, it has to be. After we finish our shopping trip in Shibuya, we hop on the train to head home. At Shinjuku, we have a little downtime while we wait for our transfer to arrive. Again, thank you so much, Rinka. I don't expect to leave there with so much. Hey, glad to help. Naomi struggles to make a decision in the store, so she ended up picking 3 different items for each category. Oh god. Her plan is to show them to the rest of the class and decide which to use. And then the rest gets returned? Because that's... Gotta hand it to you. You're killing it as class rep. Color me impressed. Not at all. I'm only doing it because no one else volunteered. Which is why I'm so impressed with how seriously you're taking it. She must have felt her face burn a little bit red as she diverts her gaze from me immediately. From what I've heard, it sounds like she's getting along with her classmates as well. Wouldn't be surprised if her taking charge of the cultural festival played a part in that. Considering how scared of me she was when we first met, she definitely come a long way. Guess that makes her the exact opposite of me. Just as we're about to get on the train, she stabs me with a sharp glare. And then she leans in and whispers, "Look, over there." She motions towards someone in the distance with enough subtlety to prevent bringing us any undue attention. The silver-haired person seems suspicious. Silver hair. Let's see. Oh, her. My shoulders stiffen the moment I spot her. Her train hasn't arrived yet, so Naomi, you head back first. Just a moment. Judging by your reaction, I assume that's another participant. I do recall you mentioning there being 2 children. Yeah. Numeral 4 and 10 to be precise. Sonya's been eliminated, which leaves only numeral 4. I happen to have her cause of death card, but other than that, I don't know a single thing about her. I'd chalk up her appearance here as a coincidence, but that'd probably be a mistake. Not only have Sonya and Alan turned up in Shinjuku, but now she has too. There's gotta be a reason. The foggy spots in my mind, memories regarding my cause of death, and what Parsa explained at our initial meeting, are likely linked to the same reason. Shouldn't waste my time trying to figure that out right now, though. Are you listening? Sorry, got lost in thought. How do you know her anyway? I'm not sure why, but he seems familiar for some reason. Plus, I had a rough image of what he'd look like based on your description. Wait, her? Is that a boy? You think? Looks awfully feminine to me. Or, haven't we had this conversation before? Either way, their gender isn't the point here. They haven't noticed this yet, so we should tell them now. While we have that advantage. Tone of her voice matches the serious expression on her face. The more information we can get our hands on, the better. Oh, sorry. I shouldn't butt in like this anymore. Don't worry about it. I was just thinking the same thing, to be honest. I asked that you head home first because I was going to do it on my own. Sorry for being unclear. Her gaze falls to the floor, and after a moment of consideration, she nods. I'm well aware of the dangers involved, so I'll do as I'm told, but remember that I'm always willing to help. I managed to snag a picture of them. I can use that to do my own research from home. Just hearing that is a relief enough. Thanks. Be careful, okay? I respond with a firm nod before we part ways. Okay, this is a good place to leave it. I think we're done for today. This has been so interesting. And obviously, there's a lot more here before we get to hear what in the world has happened at this Divine Selection. So with this, I'm going to leave it here. I hope you all have a great time enjoying this series. Let me know your thoughts. I love you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye!